welcome everybody to another great episode of Mercs on the Mic. Got an awesome special guest with me today, Matt from Hops and Geeks News, right?
Yes,
That's how you
sir.
say
Hops
it?
Geek News. Yes, sir.
Awesome. So I appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time. I know snowing out there where you at right now, so
Heck yeah, man. We got a nice snow day, so nothing better than just kicking it and then getting to talk about some nice Florida weather that I got to experience a couple weeks ago now.
that's awesome. So we're just gonna talk about our Megacon experience because he had his panels and everything, and I was just a roamer press with walking around the floor. So I don't know if you want to go first and talk about your Megacon experience.
Yeah, man. So MegaCon, we've done it. This is my co-host and I. We both kind of do this podcast and where we talk about pop culture, and we write for a website called Nerd Initiative. So this is her home show. She lives in Orlando, so she goes every year. I've gone the last 2 years. We've had panels and press the last couple of years. Finally, it took us a bunch of tries. I mean, we had been trying to get in, the last 5 years, and they finally
Mm-hmm.
accepted us for some reason. And it's a really cool experience. I don't know. Was this your first time out there at MegaCon?
So I live in LA right now, but I actually used to live in Florida.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah.
So I used to go to MegaCon almost every single. That was only actually the only con that I ever attended. So MegaCon is like my home con, if you would
It's
say.
so different. The first time I went to MegaCon was 2015, and I can tell you the differences now between 10-year difference. It's grown a ton, and we kind of one of our friends is the fire chief, who was kind of the fire marshal there, and he said
Mm-hmm.
that the numbers this year eclipsed anything that like San Diego Comic Con has done, for example.
Oh
So
wow.
it's grown pretty good, and so it's a 4-day experience. Last year
Mm-hmm.
we held a panel with Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly on Thursday night. And what's funny about that panel is nobody showed because it was the same time as Back to the Future. So we were talking to one
Oh yeah.
person, and it was funny. It was a good experience. Those guys are awesome. So this year
Yeah.
we had a panel. We knew a lot of the artist alley. That's what I love about what MegaCon does is celebrities and artists. They do a really good job of mixing the two. So there's a lot of good
Yeah.
celebrities this year, and artist alley. There was so many really good ones out there.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a panel right off the bat, 11:30 Friday morning. I flew in that morning from Virginia because that's where I live, and so
Oh,
got there, woke up at 2, caught a plane, got in at 7. We hit the ground running. Had a panel about actors and actresses, that are got their start in horror, because we every October go through and talk about horror movies. We do a whole month long of horror movies in October to
mm-hmm.
celebrate Halloween, because who doesn't love Halloween? I mean, that's the best month of the year, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
for sure. Mm-hmm.
And
I
so,
agree. I
yeah,
agree.
it's awesome. And
It's
the
the
real
only
good,
time of year where an adult can dress up besides going to
yeah,
a con and not get looked weird.
yeah, we get like candy, man, and
Mm,
typically, depending where you're at, the leaves are changing. The good colors, and Disney's doing their fun events. Universal has their fun events, and it's kind of the start of that holiday season where there's just so much fun going on for the next few months. And so we're like, there's so many actors you see: Kevin Bacon, Friday the 13th, for example, Jennifer Aniston
mhm,
in Leprechaun. And so we held that panel, and it was a really good panel. So you never know, obviously, if you're not hosting a celebrity panel, kind of what you're going
mhm.
to get, because it's always,
Yeah.
oh my God, I hope people show up, or, oh no, they put this panel at the same time as this panel, or these autographs, or whatever it may be. And so you're always kind of wondering, but the room was, pretty decently packed. And it was in the horror section where they were doing some indie horror film fest that weekend. And it was a really good time. People really knew their stuff. We got some really good deep cuts in there. And so the
Mhm.
panel went really great. I cannot
That's awesome.
talk enough. And afterwards, we did the Universal. Did you happen to go out and do the Universal thing on Friday night?
I did not. My girlfriend wanted to go, but then she started feeling sick towards the
Yep.
end. And I've been here. There was a bug going around apparently at MegaCon. People have been
Oh,
getting
I don't
sick.
doubt it, man.
Yeah, so she got a little sick. We were supposed to go Saturday, I think it was
Yeah.
Saturday, and she wasn't able to go. She actually couldn't go the last day of the con either.
Ah,
So,
That's it is, and it's feeling sick on top of all of the people that are around and things.
hmm
I get that, and you don't want to be around all those people. So I definitely get that. Universal, I recommend if you go next year, the if they do it, 2 years in a row now, MegaCon has done a MegaCon only exclusive event at Universal where $99. You get a wristband, you get a ticket from basically they opened up Islands of Adventure this year, so from 5 p.m. to midnight. The park is shut down for MegaCon guests only from like 7 p.m. on. 5 p.m. Islands lets you in starting. And so there were no lines. So we got to do Hagrid's and Velocicoaster, no lines at all. The
Mm-hmm.
park it was not empty because there was guests, but between the two sides, it was free flowing walking through. You can do pretty much just anything that you wanted to do. So it was great because that was my first time getting to ride Hagrid's and Velocicoaster,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought I was going to die in the Velocicoaster. I had never done it before. And
I
when they
got you.
take that turn and you
Oh
go
yeah.
down over the water, I was like, well, this is how it ends. I'm 6'4", and I thought for sure I was coming out of that seat. And I was like, well, at least I died at Universal and I had a great first day of the con. And that was it for me.
That's hilarious.
But it was a good ride. I survived clearly, but it was a good
Yeah.
ride. And Universal was the bright spot.
Mm-hmm.
And Saturday was a really good day because we just walked around and did a lot of press things. So I was fortunate enough. We knew a lot of the comic creators. So I
Mm-hmm.
got there. I got to talk to Chris Condon, who's doing Ultimate Wolverine right now for Marvel.
Oh, nice.
We talked to Stephanie Phillips, who's doing Phoenix, Spider-Gwen, Grimm, Life. They're for a bunch of Marvel, and then she
Mm-hmm.
works for Distillery. We talked to Tim Sheridan, who's Alan Scott Green Lantern, Jeremy Adams, who's currently writing Aquaman, who, if you haven't read the Aquaman All-In series so far, 2 issues in, by far blows anything else out of the water. It's so good. That whole DC All-In series for comic books is just amazing right now.
Nice.
We
Yeah,
talked
I've
to
been too like focused on the because Rob Liefeld's last run of
oh yeah,
Deadpool,
yeah, yeah.
so I just been like in the Deadpool team ups right now.
Well, they
So his
have
last.
Gwenpool's coming out in May. I know they announced some good things
Mm-hmm.
there. I don't know how I've not gone too deep outside of Deadpool itself. Do you everything Deadpool and anything Deadpool?
Everything, as you can see in the
Yeah.
background, everything Deadpool, and that's since I'm moving in a couple months, I don't even have a lot of the stuff up on my wall that I would really have.
Dude,
So,
that's rad. All right. I see. I love that. You would fit because
mm,
Lauren, my co-host, she's all about Wolverine. So it's like
oh, nice.
we'll have to bring you on the show to chat some Deadpool as a
Oh, I would
resident
love
expert,
that. That would be awesome.
especially. So yeah, man, we got to talk to just all of those guys down the row, and then we went and had beers with Stephanie Phillips and Brian Azzarello, which was a really cool experience. I was almost intimidated with Brian Azzarello because he's done some of my favorite Batman comics, and so it's one of those things you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to annoy him asking him comic questions while you're just out at a brewery and
Yeah.
talking. And I talked about anything but comic books, and I just couldn't believe it was happening. And I didn't want to annoy him at all. So it was just a surreal experience. And then Sunday we held a Supernatural panel. We're big Supernatural TV show fans. I just finished the series for the first time. So we
Oh,
talked
nice.
about our most
Mm-hmm.
underrated episodes. And again, it's one of those things. It's 3:30 on a Sunday, the final day of the convention. They're
Mm-hmm.
doing the team up photo ops at the same time. You never know what
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get, but it went
Yeah.
off and it was a really good time. If you can apply for panels, anybody out there, pick a topic. I highly recommend. We've done panels. We've gotten to do some with GalaxyCon Richmond's my home convention.
Mm-hmm.
We had Kyle Higgins join a panel last year. We've got 2 coming up next month there. And then we've gotten to do panels 2 years in a row at MegaCon. It's such a fun experience just connecting with people who are there who want to hear what you want to say, first of all, because doing a podcast, you're like, does anybody want to listen to what I have to say? And then seeing people actually physically in seats, and you're like, oh my god,
Yeah.
they're interacting and having
That's
fun.
cool.
And afterwards they come up and you just get to nerd out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There's no better feeling almost. So I would always recommend people do panels. So that was kind of my convention experience. It was probably
Mm-hmm.
my favorite convention that we've done over the bunch that we've gotten to do. And MegaCon is just special. It's grown, and I've had so much fun doing it.
That's awesome. Yeah, for me, my experience was more getting to meet some of the celebrities there because we had a list of people we wanted to meet and get autographs for
Yeah.
because me and my girlfriend collect the Funko Pops
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
we like to get them signed on the little class. And we got a couple. Like the highlight for me was me. Obviously, I got to meet Todd McFarlane. I won one of
Oh, how
the
was
tickets.
that? You won one of the tickets? No way.
I
That's
did win one of
awesome.
the tickets. Yeah, I was actually going to show. I know I was going to do. We're going to do the little pickups. I don't know if you picked anything up also, but one of my top pickups. I guess I'll just show you now. I collect a lot of comics, and this was
Yeah.
one of my prized possessions.
Oh, wow.
Spawn number
Dude,
one, and then he went ahead and signed it right here at the bottom.
that is so rad. I love that so much, dude. That is super cool.
Yeah, I was super hyped when I got the ticket. I was jumping all up and down my apartment because I was so hyped. And the crazy thing is, my girlfriend won a ticket also.
What? Dude, that's nuts. Like the chances of both of you, that's
That's
so
what
cool.
it's crazy because I was talking to my little brother, and he wanted to get it something signed too, and he didn't get a ticket, so he was super upset. But my girlfriend's like, she loves superheroes and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but she's not deep dive like how I am, and I know the history. So she gave the ticket to him, and he was able to get a Venom Funko Pop signed by
Dude,
him.
I love those wholesome kind of moments. How like was
Mhm.
he everything? I can only imagine
He's
there's like this aura
super
coming off
nice.
of him.
Yeah. If it wasn't for the mediator or the person pushing the
Oh yeah,
line,
yeah,
he wanted to take photos with everybody. He wanted to have long conversations and like because I have Marvel tattoos all over
yeah.
my
Yeah.
arms, and he wanted to talk about my tattoos. And he's like, "How come you don't have no venom on your arm? Where's the venom?" I was like, "It's coming, it's coming." I'm still growing my tattoos up the sleeves, but I promised him that I will. And then he's going to be at WonderCon this
Oh
year,
yeah, yeah.
and I'm going to WonderCon. And I told him that when I see him at WonderCon, I promised him that I'll have the tattoo done just for him. And he's like, "I'll take a picture with you if you do." So
Dude,
it
there we
was,
go. That's awesome.
yeah, he's an awesome dude. And then the second person that I was super hyped because again, I am a Deadpool fan. Uh, the woman that plays Vanessa,
Oh yeah, Marina Baccarena, she
my,
was there.
yeah,
Yes.
she was there, and I actually got a picture with her, and I got a signature. And then I also was able to get her to sign this bad boy right here.
Yes, dude. How was she?
Yeah.
She looked wonderful. I would walk by Celebrity Row and she just looked
Mhm.
happy at all times, no matter
All
what
the
how
time,
long
no
she'd
matter
been there.
who it was, who and how long she was there. I know when I got there a little bit early, so I was like the fourth or fifth person in line
Yeah,
to get her
that's the way
signature.
to do it.
Oh yeah, like every day I had somebody planned, so I was like I would run to their line. So I was like I'll make sure I get them first because I know their lines are going to be ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
But I passed around like probably like it was almost towards the end of the con on Saturday, and it was the busiest day. And she was still smiling, taking photos with everybody, energetic. And I was like, that's surprising because some people, they're like, okay,
Yeah, by Saturday afternoon going into Sunday, I mean, Sunday by that point, everybody's just ready to go home. They're spent. And so talking to people
mm-hmm,
on a Sunday, you can kind of see the energy levels. But I walked by her on Sunday and she was out there smile, like really intently talking to people. And it's those interactions, even though I didn't meet her, you can just tell it's just those interactions with people that really strengthen how you view a person. And I loved getting to see that. Like I saw that with Jared Padalecki as well as
mm-hmm.
he was very intently just talking to everybody that went through his line. And I mean, his line was just swamped every single day. And it just is so cool seeing that those connections with people.
Yeah. And then the coolest part was that I asked her if she could to write in her famous catchphrase, "Is your crazy matches my crazy?" And she started laughing and she's like, "You know what's funny? You're the only person that has ever asked me to write that
Really?
on Pop." I was like, "For real? I would think Deadpool fans or people that
Oh
seen you in
yeah.
the industry would ask you." And she's like, "No, no. Most of the people that she meets, she tells me that most of them are either super fans of Firefly, the show
Okay.
she
Yeah.
was
Oh
in,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
or Gotham, but like nothing really like big depth. When I was like, that's huge,
That's
surprising for
surprising to
me.
me.
Yeah, but when I told her to write that, she was laughing and all that, and then we got a picture of with her at the table, and she's such an awesome person.
I do love that because it's the, two people that you've met that you really wanted to meet. And it's always a little nervous again, because how are they going to act? And it's one of those,
Hmm.
do I want to actually meet my heroes and kind of break that glass and to find out that you met both people that you really wanted to meet and they were super cool individuals and can't wait to share that experience, especially with, Todd at WonderCon. I really can't wait to see how that plays out and follow that, man.
Yeah, and now that I know he's okay with like videos and
Yeah.
photos, because my girlfriend was holding the camera for me when we got the signatures and the interactions, but it was kind of like quick. But now that I know he's into that stuff and he wants to take photos and
Yeah.
all that, I'm gonna try to get the interaction with him, especially if I'm able to get my tattoo in time for WonderCon. Show him the tattoo and get his reaction to it.
Oh man, that's I hopefully that works. And it again, I love that he's into it too. I can't wait to see that video because that's gonna. And I know but knowing probably how he is, he's gonna remember that interaction with you as well,
Hmm.
and that's gonna be just the best right there, dude.
For sure. And it's the cool thing because, like, I was watching other people's videos and people that met him in the past. This guy that was two people in front of me, he met Todd McFarlane in the early 90s.
Mhm.
And he brought a picture of him meeting Todd McFarlane. And they took a picture there with the same pose within what the photo was. And everybody was dying laughing. And then I think his daughter was there with him and she was laughing too. So it was awesome.
It's one of those you got to make it on a shirt. So now every time you meet him, it's you're wearing that shirt of the picture within the picture within the picture. Oh yes,
And that it's funny because I have a friend that does that. Tony, he does Star Wars Sith show,
okay,
and every time Hayden Christensen does a
yeah,
con, he goes to meet him, no matter where it is. He
that's my
flies to meet
white
him.
whale right there.
Yeah, and then he has a photo of a photo of a photo within the shirts of every time he's met him. And it's like look really close in the photo, you see the tiny one where he first meets him, and he tells me that Hayden Christensen dies every time he sees that. And it's funny because he says he memorizes him or he knows him basically already by name.
Yeah,
So it's like if you can do things like that with celebrities,
that's what
and
sticks out and
that's so
stuff. Yeah.
exactly
It's oh man, and it's those interactions again that just mean, and then and I'm sure it helps the celebrities too because it can be mundane, cons like signing, exhausting, and then you see those
hmm
people that are um, just taking it and doing memorable experiences, and that kind of makes the convention experience for both people
for
on
sure.
either side of it so much better, and keeps them coming back for more. And that's what
Yeah,
conventions are all about to me. And I love hearing and seeing those interactions because it's one of the few times you can get down and really be with your people, so to speak.
for sure. And then like the last signature that I got, I wasn't expecting to get his because I didn't buy his signature at the time. But I was walking by just to get a last glimpse of Signature Al and Nicholas Holt. His line only had four people in line, and I was
Every
like,
time I walked by, it was wicked swamped, and so I
for
didn't go
real?
up to his line because
No, there was literally four people, and he was just chilling at the table, and I was like, oh, I'm buying a ticket right now. I bought it
yeah,
right there. And I went up to him, and I literally spent almost 15 to 20 minutes just talking because there's nobody behind me. And
I'm so jealous right now.
his photo op wasn't until I think 2 hours after that. So
Yeah.
he was just there chilling. And then since I'm a huge X-Men fan, he went ahead and signed my
You signed
beast.
the beast?
And
Yo! Oh my
then
god.
I just told him, hey, you can just write your name. I was like, it's this conversation is more than enough. And he actually wrote Beast Wishes on the top.
Dude, I love that. He seems
Eh,
like such a sweet dude. I wanted to meet him because I'm a huge DC fan, so his Lex
mhm.
Luthor coming up, I'm super pumped.
Oh yeah.
Any
And
movie
that's
he's in, I am sold on, and so, I'm so jealous. That's awesome. That's a good story.
And it sucked because he was cool about like the photos and all that, but his manager was more like, no, unless you pay for it. So I couldn't really record the interaction, but he was an awesome conversation person to have because we talked about. I congratulated him on getting the Lex Luthor part.
Yeah.
I think I told him I was like, yo, you're gonna do a great job. I hope you come back as Beast because you did great as
I
Beast.
did like him as Beast a lot too.
Mhm,
I'm ready for some X-Men action
mhm.
personally, and I we
And then
need
I know he told me he was open to it, and then he hasn't had. He told me, of course, who knows if he's telling the truth or not, because nobody's allowed. But he's like, I haven't had any interactions yet with Marvel, but he's like, I'm open to it if they welcome me back. And I was like, I really hope you come back because you're still. I mean, he's still young, and it's not like he's old. So he can play Beast for who knows how long.
Yeah. Oh man, that's honestly, yeah, that's the big thing is being young and to I have no doubt he's gonna crush Lex Luthor. And so if we can
Hmm.
finally get this mutant saga off the ground, oh man. Yeah, I
For
cannot
sure.
wait for that.
Yeah, and then like the best part of our conversation, like he saw my shirt because I wear the shirt around the con, and he's like, "Oh, you have a YouTube channel?" I was like, "Yeah," and then so I gave him a card of my YouTube channel, and he actually pulled up my channel on his phone and screenshotted it, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna check out some of your videos later when I get a
See,
chance."
you didn't like you may not have gotten the picture at the table, but the fact that you had like that in the conversation and even like a mini interview and even if you never know if he actually checked it out or not, the fact that he said
Hmm.
he was, I have no doubt he probably did because he probably was
Yeah.
looking to his phone that night. And to
Hmm.
see that, oh, dude, that
So
is, there
that's
we go.
probably like my number one highlight of the day. Getting Beast to be like, yo, I'm gonna check out your YouTube channel.
That is so cool, dude. You had the con experience right there. That is so
Mm,
rad.
yeah, I was like, that's highlight. I don't care. The rest of the con can go bad. Just after this, it's A1 for me.
That is, yeah. I mean, from you just wow. I'm super
Mm.
jealous right now. That is so cool, man. And that is the coolest thing because every time I walked by his, it was yeah, it was packed. So I only met a few. I Tom Welling, Dave
Hmm.
Ramsey, who was in Arrowverse, and then
Yeah.
I met Mark Shepard, Ruth Connell, who was Doom Patrol, Supernatural, and then DJ Qualls, who was also Supernatural, who was like the nicest human being on earth. A
Hmm.
lot of the big celebrities, I was like, oh man, their lines are pretty long. So you went
Yeah.
at the right time, and four
Yeah.
people in his line is great. Like, what are you guys doing? That's Nicholas Holt, man. You know, like
That's what I was saying.
ability this
I
guy
walked
has.
by and like I had to walk around like just because I forgot who was next to him, but next to him they had a big line, and I was coming from that direction, so I had to walk around to make sure it was his line that was short, and I was like, "There's no way his line is this short." I was like, "Yo, it's Nicholas Holt. He just had a fantastic Nosferatu movie just come out.
No,
You would think."
I wanted to ask him, like, are you? Do you have that piece hanging up in your wall house somewhere? Like, he had that. I
Yeah.
mean, every movie, The Menu was really good.
Hmm.
Nosferatu. He was back in Warm Bodies where I first saw him, and then obviously X-Men, and now he's in the DC. Oh, man,
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. And like, I'm like, you're about to be playing Lex Luthor. You would expect your lines to be ridiculous because people
yeah.
want to get to meet you and stuff like that. But no, he only had four people, and behind me, nobody. So I was like, I'm jumping
Hey,
in line.
shoot your shot. Why not? Until they tell you to go away.
Exactly.
You get to chat, and he seemed more than happy to. And those are the best, right there. Again, that's what makes a convention, and your experience and their probably experiences. Because how many people just kind of talk to them like they're people too? Is you
Exactly.
everyone's excited, nervous, whatnot, and just to have conversations like they're human beings.
Hmm.
He's gonna remember that for however long.
Exactly. And it's nice too. Like his since nobody was behind us, his manager, nobody. He wasn't like, okay, let's go, let's
Yeah,
go. He's like he's showing the manager was on his phone, not even caring, and like he wasn't even like interrupting our conversation or nothing. It's just full blown good. Like I said, 15, 20 minute conversation. I was like, right here, this is highlight of my
yeah,
the con.
yeah.
So
That's awesome. That is, I love it. I love it.
yeah, and then
I didn't get any good grabs like you did though. Did you? What else did you? And I'm really interested to see what else you got.
so I had this thing that I like to do when I go to cons. I carry this sketchbook around with me, and I so this is the Magic Deadpool sketchbook.
That's awesome.
So I go to cons and I find two to three of my favorite artists that are there, and I ask them to draw their version of Deadpool. So this book is literally filled with different artists.
Just that.
Oh,
That's a really
it's
unique idea.
yeah, just straight sticky papers, just different
Whoa.
versions of headshots of Deadpool.
Oh, wow, that one's really cool.
Yeah,
The
this one's
headshot coming through
by
is awesome.
yeah, Rubenstein. I don't know if you
Okay.
know who that is. Yeah, he's one of the he's the one that worked on Wolverine #1.
Oh, okay, yeah,
The,
yeah, yeah.
the famous where he looks like he's finger
Yep,
telling
yep.
you to come. He's one of the artists that worked on the cover.
Ah, okay,
Yep.
dude, that's awesome.
And then here's another one that I got done.
I like that one a lot too.
Yeah. So like I said, I go to a lot of cons and just do this. Like this is my number one priority every time I go.
That's a really unique idea. I've
And
never seen anybody think of anybody doing that because most of the time they go up and they ask for, whatever prints or whatever. So to have your own sketchbook, that's a
mhm,
really good idea.
yeah. And then Mark Brooks, he's one of my favorite comic book artists. He was
Oh yeah,
there
yeah.
at Megacon and he actually did this piece for me.
Ooh, dang. That's really cool. And man, I love that so much. That is really cool. So
Mhm.
is it specific people who have worked on Deadpool then, or just like any artist
I
that you
just
love?
I just any artist that I like, and I'll just walk by their table, and then if I see any Deadpool sketches on there, I'll look through their sketchbook, and I was like, oh, I'm really into his what he's doing, and
Yeah.
then I'll ask him like, he does it on sketchbook. Some artists I've gotten like, oh no, I just sell my art. I don't
Yeah.
really be doing work, which I understand. They're too busy either signing or talking
For
with
sure.
other guests. So I was like, I understand. So I'm not gonna bug out too much. But then the last one that I got, this one was my favorite.
Wow, that one's so good. And losers were getting there. Oh man, even the
Yeah,
added thing with the little car. That
yeah,
might actually be my favorite as well with the bag in the back and the car and everything. That's really well
exactly.
done.
So I was when he turned the page, I was like, "Did you put a sticker on here?" It looked just like a sticker, and I was like, "That's great work, man!" Like,
People who
and
can
which
draw like that too always impress me because I can't draw to save my life.
you and me both. And it's crazy. Like they come up with it with on the top of their
Yeah.
dome. They're like, "Yeah, I got you," and then you come back and it's something crazy masterpiece. And I was like, "Yo, you guys have some great talent."
And you're giving them the chance to kind of come off, be creative with it. Say, hey, I just want this character versus,
Hmm.
most of the time people they might feel confined to, oh, can you draw XYZ? Whereas it's, hey, just all I want is this character. I don't care what you do with it. And to them, it's
Yeah,
probably exciting because how many times do they get to do whatever they want at this point?
exactly. And that's what I sounds like. I just want Deadpool. The only rule is Deadpool.
Yeah.
Everything else is freedom to you. You can do however you want. You can have them mutilate, dancing,
Whatever you
crazy,
want.
whatever
Yeah.
you want. And a lot of them like, oh, that's awesome. And then they have like million ideas.
That's, oh man, again, I'm so jealous because I am a writer. I am not an artist.
Yeah, so those two things are like my highlight. That's the like my number one missions when I go to cons is let me go to Artist Alley wherever
Yeah.
it is in whatever con and let me scavenger who I like the most, and then I'll pick two, and then I'll get them to work on my comic or my sketchbook.
Yeah, I that's a really unique idea. I really appreciate that, especially we're big proponents of Artist Alley, and the way they had Artist Alley set up this year, I thought was million times better than especially last year where they had it in a really bad spot last year. So this year was
Hmm.
nice and like a big U shape, and that's what I love to do too, man. I just right there, Artist Alley. It's great seeing friends of the show or people that you've really looked up to and read their or write their or read their stuff and getting to see them drawing and in action and putting faces to comic books because we were talking to Jeremy Adams and Tim Sheridan. They were, hey, we really love coming to conventions because for those guys they get to
Hmm.
get out of their cave, their words
Yeah.
essentially, and you know, it's getting people to put their faces to these comic books that everybody gets to read, and it bolsters that connection, and that's what it's really, really again all about. And if you're ever afraid of to go up to somebody at a convention and just have that conversation like you did with Nick Holt, uh,
Hmm.
I can almost guarantee you, especially in Artist Alley, they are so welcome to have those conversations right back with you because they
Exactly.
love getting out and just interacting with the fans and seeing people dress up like their characters too is
Hmm.
so surreal for them, and it's so cool.
Yeah. That's what I like too, because like most of the time the artists are like how you said they're in their cave. They what they do for work is by themselves.
Yeah.
So getting a chance to interact with people to that appreciate their work and what they do, and seeing their reactions to that is probably like the best feeling in the world. To be
Yeah.
honest.
I mean, for a lot of these guys too, they're just pumping out because comic books, it's not a lucrative. You're not making millions of dollars if you're in comic books. So they're working on
Hmm.
these comics and then they pump, script, whatever it is goes right out. And then the comic comes out. And then, they go to these conventions and it might have been months or however long years that
Hmm.
since they've worked on that particular issue or whatever it is somebody's talking about. So to close that loop and it shows them that it has an impact on even one person out there read this comic book or watched that one movie or that one TV show. It's,
Hmm.
oh, hey, it makes it feel good for them because they worked on it and then for them it's work, it goes out, but it actually hit somebody and it made an impact on a person. And
For
it's
sure.
that's what's again convention. I can just gush over conventions for that reason. That's why I love these things so much.
Hmm. So what I know we had a lot of great moments. What do you think if Megacon needs to work on anything?
Oh,
What do you think would be like
I got the
Would
perfect thing. I
yeah.
know what you're
What was
saying.
your best? Yeah.
I would say the one thing that I really, really wish they would do is I wish they would go back to the bigger, this year's North South concourse. I hope they go to the East West or whatever. Yeah, East West next year, because they have in the West, I believe, is the big theater. And I think the theater is perfect for panels, especially when you have like the Supernatural, which is a huge fandom, or the Arrowverse or whoever it is. There, because oftentimes I jumped in line for the Supernatural panel an hour and a half early, and thank God I did. And I still was like 100th in line. And so a lot of
Hmm.
people kind of lose out on the convention floor experience or whatever it is because they have to sacrifice so much time. It's a 45-minute panel, and then some people line up 2+ hours. And so I think they had it in a smaller venue this year. So it'd be
Hmm.
nice to see them go in a bigger venue, open up their theater. That way you can fit more people into the theater, get more people into the panels, and then it allows them to explore the floor, explore these other smaller panels inside things for a little bit longer. I think that would be
Hmm.
my big recommendation.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that everything felt so congested,
Yeah.
especially Saturday when it was their
Oh God,
busiest time.
yeah.
I felt like we were all walking like penguins the
That
whole
was
time.
that was a tough one for me as well,
Hmm.
because it was you're just smashed, and I was like, ah. So after a point, I don't want to be in a crowd like that anymore. So you kind of veer off and find these other
Hmm.
panels. Again, that's when people tend to go find the panels, and that would be the perfect time to have a bigger
Yeah.
convention space.
And then the other thing too is I wish they would do a little bit better on their app, on the app, keeping the schedule to what
Yes.
when they change it. Because sometimes I forgot whose panel it was. They changed the time, and my girlfriend wanted to go see the panel, but we were stuck in line because we kind of managed our time
Mhm.
of when that panel starts. So we get in this line, we'll be able to make it in time for that panel. But then I guess they moved the panel earlier, and my girlfriend was upset because we couldn't make the panel.
See, yeah, that right there, it stinks because then you're basically picking and choosing, and
Exactly.
yeah, that is tough.
Yeah, but that's pretty really the only thing I would say I would work on if I was president of Megacon. But
No, likewise, I would fully
mm,
agree with you. Everything else went smooth. I mean, you're never gonna please everybody. The cell service is what it is. I always tell people
exactly, all the
cash,
internet.
and the
Hmm.
internet, like, it's not gonna be reliable. It's just not, because you have so many people in a small confined space.
Exactly, and it
Like
sucks too because my girlfriend was having trouble with internet. So because she wanted, I think I was trying to purchase something, but the internet wasn't properly. So
Yep.
she looked up how much it would cost for the boosted internet, and it's
Uh,
$80 a
yeah,
day.
dude,
I was
it's
like, yo,
expensive. I said, "No."
that's crazy. And
Nope.
I'm like, that's crazy because that means the exhibitors and everybody out here selling and stuff like that, they're paying the $80.
Yeah, they are.
Because if
It
not, they can't use the wireless transfers or the paperless pays and stuff like that. So I'm like,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
that is absolutely just I couldn't, because I we actually so Charles Soule, his we were friends with the guy who works his booth, Tommy, and they lost internet, so they couldn't take any card purchases, and so it was
Hmm.
cash only. And a lot of people didn't have cash and couldn't get to the ATM.
Hmm.
And it became a thing. So I can only imagine. I don't know what they have in place for the people that are working, but I'm not paying $80 for internet. I can tell you that much. No.
No, I'd rather walk around with my phone up in the air looking for best service possible before I pay $80 for some
Yeah,
service.
exactly, right? I mean, the only time would be is if I'm getting to actually do like an interview with who one of the stars, like
Hmm.
Nicholas Holt, for example. Hey, we're gonna sit down
Exactly.
and do this interview, and I need internet. All right, fine. I'll pay whatever the price is for that point.
Exactly. So we got here about to wrap this up. So just thinking future things. Do you have any cons coming up? Any events you're planning
Yeah.
on attending?
If first of all, if you're in the Orlando area, my co-host, my best friend there, Lauren, she's always doing stuff. She does a lot of things with the breweries and the local brewery scene there. But in March, the end of March, there is going to be GalaxyCon Richmond. So if you happen to be going to that, her and I will both be there. We have two panels. They haven't given us official dates, times, or schedules yet, but we're going to be, one of them is drafting up our superhero team and kind of letting the audience talk through and decide who's going to win that battle. And then we'll
Hmm.
be there working as press. And I think we have an event. We haven't locked into the date yet, but Benchtop Brewing is one of the. This is going to be where our event space is. So biggest thing is social medias. We have a website. You can find us there. We have a thing that says our next event, but it will be GalaxyCon Richmond in March, which I'm pretty pumped for.
That's awesome. Yeah, and then I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna tag you in all my
Oh, absolutely.
videos and everything. I'm gonna make sure you get your shout out because I be watching some of your videos and they're awesome, and I love
Thanks,
watching
man.
you guys attending the cons and interviewing the comic book artists. So that's pretty cool.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. And then for me personally, I have two cons coming up this weekend out here in LA. So this Saturday they're having a multi-con, and I actually have it pulled up. Share the screen real quick and then I'll show it to you. So this is the
Cool.
convention that I will be attending this Saturday. It's if you heard, the fires out here in LA have been
Yes.
crazy. So they're hosting this event. Decided to do it, I think, like a month ago, and all the money for autographs people are purchasing, any photo ops, anything they're buying from the vendors, all of it is going towards people that need.
That's a good idea.
And I thought it was awesome, especially the guests. Like the guest list is crazy. Like here alone, you have Sean Gunn attending,
Yes. Oh,
and I'm
Daniel
like,
Logan too. He's awesome. We got to talk with
yeah,
him last MegaCon. Actually, there was nobody in his line, so we just shot the breeze with him. He's an awesome guy too.
exactly. And then the one that really got me hyped for this one is these two right here.
Kevin Smith. Oh my god, dude. Kevin
Mm-hmm.
Smith is. I have met him once at a fan expo in Salt Lake City that we were working when I lived out west. He is the
Mm-hmm.
greatest person celebrity I've ever met in my life. If you get a chance to meet Kevin Smith, the sweetest guy on earth. We shared a hug. It was a great thing. That is amazing. And then obviously for you, Rob Liefeld for Deadpool, dude. And then even
Exactly.
Robert Kirkman, Deadpool,
Mm-hmm.
or not Deadpool, Walking Dead 3, The
Invincible.
Boys, the Invincible.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's gonna
So
be a con. I cannot wait to see your footage for this.
yeah, so these three right here are they announced these three, and I was like, oh, I don't care who the rest of the guests are because these were the
Yeah.
first people they announced, and I was like, oh, I'm going no matter what, and I already have everything I'm gonna have signed because I actually have that New Mutants '98 first
Yeah.
appearance of Deadpool, and it's actually signed by Rob Liefeld, Stan Lee, and Fabian,
Dang.
and is graded. So now I want to have him signed the last Deadpool team up, his last work of
Yeah.
Deadpool. So getting him to sign that. So I have first ever Deadpool and last ever Deadpool by Rob Liefeld signed.
That's huge. That's awesome, man.
Mm-hmm.
That especially for somebody who that character means a lot to you. That is super super cool.
Yeah.
I hope that happens so bad. I cannot wait to see that.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously Kevin Smith, he's the go to podcasting
Oh
and video.
man.
Like if I do get a chance to talk to him for a bit, I'm going to tell him how Comic Book Man got me into
Yeah.
really diving into comic books and stuff like that. And then I'm like, I don't know if it's possible if you can get this Comic Book Man started up again and see how the gang is doing at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash.
That that JC or Bob Silent Statue is a fun place to go. And then but you're right, Comic Book Men was so underappreciated. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just, the nerds sitting around talking and having a good time. And Kevin Smith is literally why I got into talking through a microphone to whomever will listen, because hearing the things that he says and just how he loves everything and what he takes away from the
Mm-hmm.
works out there, he is such a precious treasure to this earth, man.
Absolutely. And he was here at LA Comic Con last year, but he was only here to do a panel. He wasn't because it was our last minute add on because
Mhm.
they have a game of his on the app on
Oh,
Apple
nice.
coming out, and he was just talking about that, and it was funny because all the Q&As weren't even about the video game. It was just about Clerks and then his upcoming projects. And there was one that really caught my attention where the girl was telling him how much he means to her, and he came off the stage. He literally jumped off the stage and came and gave her a hug, and he's like, without you guys, I'm not who I am. So I'm very appreciative of my fans and stuff like that. So I was like, that's so sick of him to do because he didn't have to do that.
Yeah, he doesn't have, that's the thing, right? Is he's appreciative. He's not one of those people who it went to his head or whatever. He's very appreciative of the fans because he self-funded Clerks and everything. And um
Exactly.
that same convention, we got to interview Brian O'Halloran and Jeff Anderson, and they were super cool. And then to meet Kevin Smith all on the same day, because Clerks is such an important piece of my growing up and getting into this nerddom as well, Mallrats and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
just like comic book men. Yeah, he doesn't have to do it, and the fact that he loves to do it and just making those interactions again is truly amazing. And then that's going to be a really good benefit, especially because I had friends out there in LA, and then I have a lot of comic book friends that were affected. So seeing
Mm-hmm.
the LA community come together for that good cause like that, hands down, the coolest thing ever.
For sure, and that's what I'm really excited because they're having silent auctions. Also, they're
Yeah.
some Rob Liefeld said he's bringing stuff from his personal collection that
Oh
he
wow.
wasn't expecting to sell, but he's like anything to help out the LA community. Because I listened to his I don't know if you listen to it also, Robservations, his
I
podcast.
haven't listened to that one. No.
Yeah, he's just talking about how he some of the lot of stuff that he wasn't planning on selling, he's gonna make sure he brings because he wants to help here because
Yeah.
this is his home, and who
Right.
wouldn't want? So I thought it was pretty cool of him.
That is, I mean, again, he doesn't have to do that, and so to give back to the community, man, and see the community come together, that's what it's all about. I mean, when nobody else will, I know the communities and the way LA has pulled together and the people surrounding it have come together. If there's anything that we can do, tag away, man, we'll share, we'll do whatever we can to also help boost this out to help everybody.
For sure, I appreciate that. But again, I appreciate you taking the time. I know
Thank you.
it's wrap up time. It was an awesome conversation. Glad we got a chance to meet, and hopefully we get to talk some more.
Yeah,
Nerdy
man,
stuff.
we're gonna get you and we're gonna nerd out about some X-Men, Deadpool, Wolverine over on our show. We'll get you over there here soon. So I appreciate you giving me the time and getting to chat some more about MegaCon.
For sure. I'm always down to talk Deadpool. I can talk Deadpool for hours. But again, Matt, I appreciate it. Again, I'm going to make sure I tag you on everything.
Absolutely.
Make sure everybody checks out the channel, Hopes Geek News. Get that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep. Absolutely. Again, Matt, I appreciate it. And Mercs, if this is your first time on the channel, remember, hit that like and subscribe button. Only way we can get these great content to you guys and cons, comic books, everything. Check us out. Again, Matt, I appreciate it. And Mercs, catch you guys on the next video. Peace.
Just